Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? I'm just going to go and get the mower that we've got over here. We've just got the front mounted one, we don't have anything else. And today we're going to cut a bit of grass and we are hoping to make some hay. We're only going to gather it up loose. We're going to use the forage wagon to collect it up. What I would like to do eventually is get some bales. So that will be something to do with this week's question in just a minute. Last week's question, I asked you which slurry spreader would you like me to get. We had a look in here. There we go. And it was going to be the Garant, it was going to be the Joskin, it was going to be the Fleagle, the Marshall, or the IT Runner with the IT Runner trailer. And it surprised me, the responses. I mean, I thought that the Joskin might be quite popular, but I didn't realise it was going to be as popular as it turned out to be. We had a total of 1,719 responses to this particular question. In last place was the Garant, the little one. That had 24 votes, so not very popular at all. Then in second place was the Fleagle. That had 46 votes, so again, not very popular. Then the Marshall at 63. Now, that's fine, yeah, I didn't really expect them to get a lot of votes. I'm surprised, though. I thought that maybe they would have picked up a few more than that. But the Joskin proved to be quite popular. A lot of people wanted the Joskin. 618 votes. In fact, one day it actually had the most votes. However, 968 people have asked for me to get the IT Runner. The biggest argument against the IT Runner was my own argument, which was it's going to be quite expensive. It is an expensive thing to buy because obviously we've got to buy the IT Runner trailer as well. But that is what everybody's wanted. It's your vote, it's your game as always. So I will be getting that particular one. It's going to take a little while because we're going to go and get those two fields first. I have found out though, if you look at the map, see 15 and 20 over in the middle on the right hand side, that's the two that we're going to go for. Field 16 right beside field 15 is actually owned by one of the farmers that owns, I can't remember, it's either 15 or 20. One or the other of them is he also owns field 16. So I'll be able to do some extra work for him over there and earn a bit more money and get a reduction, which is excellent. So we will get a bit more money off. I'll do that off camera though. I've been doing a lot of contracting work on this map lately on camera, so I'll do that off camera so that you won't have to sit through it. Starting next week, for those of you who don't watch Goldcrest, I did mention it on there. I will be doing 2 time-lapse videos per week because I did ask you a question on the channel quite a little while ago, and most people have said that that's what they want. So starting next week, Wednesdays and Sundays will be time-lapse. I will continue doing my regular Let's Play series because there are people who prefer watching this over the time-lapse. And it has been mentioned a couple times now that for those of you who actually prefer the Let's Plays, there are some among you who don't actually like the time-lapse. And I was starting to put quite a bit of time-lapse stuff into some of the Let's Plays. So that's really going to stop now. I'm not, and mainly because I just don't have the time to do it. I can't do 2 time-lapse episodes and put time-lapse into my regular series. So that's something that's not really going to be happening anymore. It might vary occasionally for like a special occasion or something, but generally we won't be doing time-lapse. If I'm doing work for neighbours on neighbouring fields, which is generally what I time-lapsed previously, I'll simply do it off camera after the episode is finished, or even like split it up like I do sometimes during an episode. So that should sort of keep both people happy. There's going to be more time-lapse coming, but also for those of you who just don't really enjoy it and would prefer just for the ordinary Let's Plays, that is also going to be happening, so you'll get both. Today I am just cutting the grass on this field here. I'm not going to do any more than just this field. I'll just do this one for now, and then we'll go over it with the hay turner that we bought last time, which was voted for, the Deutz one, and then we will have to go and get our rake, row it all up, and then we'll gather it up with the forage wagon, because you can now collect hay with the forage wagon. You didn't used to be able to. It would turn straight back into grass, but now it stays as hay. So we'll be able to take this back down to the farm and hopefully feed the cows some total mixed ration. We are going to need to get a mixer wagon, and that is a little bit expensive. I'm wondering if I should buy the fields first, but on the other hand, those 2 fields we need to wait until the sugar beet is ready to harvest. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. My question for this week is, I was looking at the balers, and I was thinking at some point we're going to want a baler, because we can't just keep gathering everything loose. So I was looking. I've got these 2. These are the standard ones. And then on the mod hub, and for those of you who didn't see it, you can access the mod hub through the start of your game, and I believe that is the same on Xbox and on PlayStation, as well as here on PC. These mods can be accessed and downloaded and installed all from within the game. Before you select your map, there's a section there that says mods. That's where these have all come from. So these are just reskins of these over here. Some parts of the world, this is the standard colour that you get on your balers, and other parts of the world, this is the standard colour. So they are both the same manufacturer, everything, it's just different colours. So I'm going to go for one of these, either round bales or square bales, and it's going to be a little while before we can afford them. They are quite expensive anyway. So this is what I'm asking today, is do you want me to do round bales for this map, or do you want me to do square bales? Because it'll be one or the other. I know we've done some round baling already, but this will be for hay and straw that we use on the farm. For however much longer this series runs. I haven't decided yet how long we're going to run this. Probably 50 or 60 episodes before we change over the maps. But like I said, I'm not sure yet. So do you want the square bale or the round bale? It's your vote, it's your game. Don't forget to mouse over up here and cast your vote on the card. That should, hopefully it will have come up by now. And head into the comment section and let us know why you're voting for the one you're voting for. And that can also be today's topic of discussion. Do you prefer round bales or square bales? And different farmers prefer different things. So if you've had any experience, I mean, even if it's just game experience, what do you prefer? Personally, I always prefer square bales. I've done a huge amount, in real life, I've done a huge amount of work with square bales. I have done a lot of work with round bales, but not as much as I've done with square bales. And I prefer working with square bales. They're easier to handle. I get on better with them with when I've been driving load-alls and stuff. I just prefer using square bales. The only time that I prefer round bales is when I'm feeding bales of hay. If you've got a bale of hay that is in square bale form, you either got to put it into a feeder or you've got to manually break it apart. If you're feeding hill farmers, generally they feed on the ground outside. They just put the food on the grass. They find a nice clean part of the field and they'll put the bale out. Now if you're using square bales to do that, what you've got to do is you've got to hold it on the back of the truck or on a trailer, on tractor, something like that, and you've got to break it into sections and drop the sections periodically across the field so that it's spread out, so your cattle or your sheep, whatever's going to have it, can all reach it. You can't just leave it in a big lump. With a round bale, it's a lot easier. This is the only time that I prefer round bales, because you put the round bale of hay out in the field and you just sort of break the outside layer, and then you can just unroll it. You literally just roll it across the field in one great big strip, and all the animals can access all the food. But for the rest of it, for handling, for storing, for anything else, I prefer square bales. So that's my particular view on the subject. We've almost finished this field. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to do any more than this field. We're just going to do this one little bit. We've only got the front-mounted mower, and I'm looking to save as much money as possible at the moment because I still want to buy those 2 fields. And once I've done the jobs on the field, when the sugar beet is actually ready to harvest, then we'll buy them. I did decide, I was talking about possibly buying them before the sugar beet is ready, but I think the cost of the sugar beet equipment at the moment is not going to be worth it. So we will wait until after the sugar beet has been harvested in those 2 fields, and I'm thinking we'll just go on and buy them then straight away, and then we can plant what we want ourselves in the field after that. Right, this is the field is all harvested, all mowed. So we're going to come out of cab for the next bit so that we can actually see our new turner in action. And remember, we put it over here. I'm just going to leave the mower on the front of the tractor. And And I'm going to hitch into... It's a little unorthodox using a mower as a front weight, but still. I think we can get away with it. Let me just back up to the turner. There we go. Excellent. So, and again, it's on the top hitch. And I said previously in a previous episode that this is really unusual for me, because here in the UK, I'm not saying that there aren't tractors that have top hitches, but I've never encountered one. In real life, I have never encountered a tractor that has a top hitch up there. I have seen tractors that have where you can like position a bolt to go through, as so you can put like a tow rope or something like that, but I have never seen one, and those are only very old tractors, by the way. New tractors, I've never seen one that has got a pin up there. It's always down the bottom, below the PTO shaft. And someone actually commented on the comment section and said where they're from, he's never seen a tractor with the lower hitch. All of the machines that they use are on the top hitch, which actually surprised me. I didn't realise that such a thing existed. But there you go. So anyway, this is our new Deutz Turner. It's the cheap one that people wanted, and unfolds quite nicely. That looks quite good. Now, are there any extra options for this one, or is it just go like that? So you got that, turn on, fold. Right, well, let's just turn it on a minute. I don't think there are any other options, not on this one. There was a turner that somebody had that had other options. I like the way that this front mower leaves the grass in a bit of a windrow like that. It is quite good. Right, let's just do it like that. It does actually, it's the front mower does have a fair width on it. I don't know if when you put the butterfly mowers on the back, does it allow you to leave it in a full windrow or not, or does it leave it in 3 lines, sort of like we're taking up now. We will be doing mowing with a bigger set of mowers. I'm just not sure when. I'm not actually sure if we'll be doing it on this map, or if it'll sort of be more a time-lapse thing, because obviously it costs 50 grand to buy it, and then you need a tractor that'll be able to pull it, and I don't think this tractor will be able to cope with running the 3 mowers. I just don't think it's got what it takes to do it. Now that is, I'm assuming that is actually turning into hay. Unlike real life, this game only requires you to pass over it once. A single pass is all it takes to make hay in this game. I can't quite pick up full 3 widths on there, so I'll come down and do a bit less. Actually looks really good. I'm quite pleased with this turner. It's plenty wide enough for what we need. We don't actually need anything more than this. And the one thing you've got to remember when you're turning hay is you never stop, you never drive over anything that has been turned unless you've got the turner on behind you. You don't drive across hay without turning it as well. You've got to leave it fluffed up behind you, is the whole idea of it. You can't go driving around on it without the turner running, because it will squash it, and it squashes it down into the ground, and then it doesn't dry properly. And ordinarily, I know that it does happen differently in other parts of the world. I think people from in the southern states and also in Australia, when you're making hay, very often you'll only turn it once. You'll mow it and leave it out in windrows for quite a while, and then you have a machine that comes along that operates a bit differently to this and just literally turns over the windrow. And then you only do it the once, and then a day later you come along and you can bale it all up, and it's absolutely bone dry. Things operate a little bit differently here in the UK, and for a lot of Europe as well. We don't have the dry weather to make that happen. Oh, I can't go driving along with that. You've got to wait for the wheels to turn. There, I'm just dragging it sideways. That is not the way to treat your new turner. Rip the rubbers, you just strip the wheels off. That's not the way to do it at all. Ooh, better turn on the beacons. Okay, I'm going to drive this back to the farm now, and I'll unhitch these 2, and then we'll get on the Pottinger forage wagon that we've got, and come... Oh, no, we don't want the forage wagon yet. We need to put the rake on. We'll get the rake on, and we'll bring that one up, and we'll row up our little bit of hay that we got there. Just back in and hitch this one up. It's quite a big one, this one is. Do quite a lot. Right. Got that one on. I will run this one back up to the field, and we can row it up. We're probably, considering the size of this thing, we're probably only going to need to do 2, maybe 3 passes on the field. And and then we can go and gather it up. Got to decide where to tip it all, because I can't just put it straight in for the cows, because obviously that's just going to go... If you take a look in the menu a minute, before I go whizzing out onto the road, come up through here. If you take a look at... Cleanliness is down. Oh, it's because I haven't put the robots going yet. We do need to turn them on every now and then. So we'll do it when they get to about 50%. We'll turn the robots on. They don't need it at the moment. So yeah, if you can put silage or hay as their base food. We don't want to do that. We need to make sure that we mix it before we put it in the power food, which is... And power food is a total mixed ration. So we've got the straw and we've got the hay, but we're going to have to do this carefully because you can measure it quite easily when you're using bales. But because we don't have bales, we're going to have to be quite careful when we go spooning the stuff in. Oh, and that's the other thing, is how much is the actual wagon? $40,000. That is a bit of a problem. I did say that I was going to try and look for a mod for a cheaper one, and I will do that. I'll probably actually do that before tomorrow's episode. I will see if I can find a slightly cheaper mixer wagon, because $40,000. No. I've spent the whole I've spent nearly half an episode with it on the wrong settings. I'm so sorry. I always forget to do this. Right, measuring unit, kilometers, money unit, euro. There we go. I'm so sorry about that. Right. 40,000 euros that thing is going to cost us, which is only going to leave us 10,000 for buying the fields, which isn't very good. If I can't find a cheaper mixer wagon, then we'll stick with that one. If the only mixer wagons that I can find are simple reskins, because obviously it's still early days, and the really good modders are taking their time getting to know everything, and I'm not just going to take a cheap mod, a poorly thought out mod. It's simply a reskin, and then it's put up on its price is then set at €1. That's not acceptable to me. It's got to be a realistic and believable price. So I'm not taking a reskin and buying it for €1 or €10 or even €1,000. It would have to be a cheap looking mixer wagon that would be cheaper, and I would say that, you know, even for a cheapish one, 20,000 is probably, you know, a believable price. Anything less than that becomes not believable in the slightest. So I will take a look around, but it is likely that we will have to spend €40,000 on the mixer wagon. So then we have to ask the question, is it worth spending €40,000 on a mixer wagon? I don't know. At the moment, because we got so few cows, I'm genuinely not sure if it's actually worth it at all. We'll have to see. That's something that we can sort of find out. This is rowing up quite nicely. I'm quite pleased with what we're getting here. The hay looks quite a bit different. It looks a lot drier than it used to look in... No, sorry, it doesn't look as dry. It used to be a lighter colour when it was in FS15. I think it's still the same. I think you still go over it once with the turner. I don't think you've got to go over it twice. Because some of this we did go over twice, so it didn't change anything. So I'm just going to assume that you do actually... It's just a slightly different colour, that's all. Come on up here. Now we've got the slightly more difficult bit. I'm not going to do it the way that I would normally approach a field with raking, because it's such a small field. It's not really worth trying to do it like that. What I'll do is we'll just sort of cut it. Difficult to explain. I'll do it here. If I stop there, then lift, and I'll come round like this, and then back up this way. Oop. It's really, really difficult to back the ones that give assisted steering like this. I know some of the trailers do, but then when you go to back them, they just instantly straighten the wheels out, which isn't very realistic. This is much more realistic, because this one, the wheels turn regardless of whether you're backing or going forwards, and that is so much more realistic. It's also so much harder to actually do anything with, but that's part of the fun and the challenge. Right, we can come down through here, and then we've got to see if we've got enough room to squeeze up through there, or we're going to have to sort of pull the two windrows in together. We may end up having to pull the two in together. If I just come down there, now I stop. Lift, and I'll back round here. And what we probably do here is I don't think we got enough room to sort of start off in the middle there. So if I come back out here, and the idea is to try, what you want to do is you want to keep this as neat and tidy as possible, because you've got to remember that someone's got to follow along afterwards. So you don't want sharp turns, and, you know, sometimes you sort of need to do it like that, so that it's easy to follow on afterwards. Now, we can get up through the middle here without touching either of those two sides. That would be really good. And at the top there, we will end up... Actually, we might be able to do it without touching that top little leg of it. There. Stop right there. Lift and switch off. And that's it. That's not very much. I don't think that we're going to be making very much total mixed ration with this. How many cows have we got? I can't remember now. Come back through here. Well, we've only got 12 cows. But in 7 hours, it'll go up to 13. 136 hours, we get a new cow. And in just 7 hours, it's going to go to 13 cows. I would like to get more of them, and I want to get more pigs. I did talk about that previously. Once we've expanded our land a bit, and we've had a harvest or two, I think things are going to start looking up. We're going to, we'll have more food, more money available, and we'll really be able to start expanding things a bit. But until that time, we're going to have to sort of... It's going to take a little bit of time to get there, I think. But anyway, I'm going to go and get the pottinger on, and we can collect up our hay. I remember now what I was talking about at the end of... I think it was at the end of the last episode, or maybe a couple of episodes ago. That we've got the pile of grass for the cows that we sort of stuck in the little field opposite their trough. And I was wondering if we could sort of spread that out and turn it into hay using the turner. So we will do that. I haven't completely forgotten about it. We will probably try and do that because, I mean, I don't like leaving a big pile of grass, because in real life you wouldn't do that because it wouldn't keep. You go and cut fresh grass, by all means, with the same system that we used with the front-mounted mower and a forage wagon on the back, and there are farms that they do that every single day. They'll go and get a little bit of fresh grass and put in for their animals. So that is something that does happen, but you wouldn't be able to store it. You have to go and cut it fresh each day. It won't keep. It heats up very, very quickly and starts to go bad, and that's how silage makes. You know, you clamp it all together, remove the oxygen, and so that when it heats up, it ferments. And it does happen very quickly. So that pile of grass that we got down there is incredibly unrealistic. You wouldn't normally have that. Storing a pile of hay like that, yes, by all means. However, I mean, you wouldn't normally do it outside. You would put it under cover, but you know, essentially that is acceptable. That's an acceptable way of doing things, and it is believable. But I'm not happy with the pile of grass, so we might actually do that next episode. We might see about gathering it up and spreading it out a bit and seeing if we can do something with that. And we're also obviously going to be seeing about getting a different mixer wagon. I mean, if we can't get a different mixer wagon, we will settle for the mixer wagon that we've got, and we will get it. Because we've got a little bit of time and we've got some more harvest work to do before we buy those two fields that we're after, 15 and 20, we should be okay. So this is definitely hay. It just looks a little bit different. I like the colour of the dust that's coming off it. That is very good. And there's a lot of dust coming off of it, which is very realistic. That's very good. And you can tell that it's hay because if you look at the little symbol in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, it's got the pile with the grass things in it, and it's got a little tiny sun symbol right next to it. That means that it is actually hay and not just grass. So we've got the right item going on here. Someone did say, because you know I was looking at this the other week, and I didn't know what those two there were. We figured out what this was. That's grass. That's hay. That's silage. And I thought that one of these was... I thought maybe that one was straw. It doesn't actually say about straw on here. But someone did say that one of those is mixed feed. And one of them is... because yeah, this one here takes straw. But straw, even when you have it loose, it has that symbol. So I don't know. I thought that was straw. But someone said the one with the leaf is mixed feed. And then the other one is mixed feed without all of the ingredients in. And then someone else said, well, actually one of them is mixed feed, the one with the leaf, and then the other one is actually loose straw, or straw of any kind. So it's something to do with straw and something to do with mixed feed. So that's what that symbol is, and I didn't have a clue. I had absolutely no idea. My alarm is going to say that we have run out of time, and we're not actually going to fit all of this into one mixer wagon. We're going to have to come back a second time, so we're going to have a full mixer wagon that we're going to tip somewhere. I was thinking we could tip it into the silage clamp, but I don't think we'd be allowed to do that. So we've got straw in one bay in one of the sheds. And really, you would want to keep it undercover. Definitely not keeping it undercover, that's something that's kind of unrealistic. I'm just going to leave those two lines there, and I will come back and get those another time. Probably, actually, we'll come back up and we'll get the rest of that tomorrow. We need to find somewhere to tip this. We might have to... I'm thinking we may have to buy another shed. I suppose we could move some of the machinery out of one of the sheds and do it that way. Do we or don't we? I'm not really sure. I think that is going to have to be a decision for tomorrow's episode. We might have to get a new shed so that we can find somewhere to actually store our hay. Because I can't tip it into the cow shed. And the one with the big pit in, that would be a good one to tip it in, except it's going to go into the pit, and I don't want it in there. So, yeah, that's just to kind of put a few bits of machinery in. I'm not going to use it for anything else. The only other option is the one across the road, that open-sided one right there. Could we put it in over this side anywhere? Obviously, if you go into... I don't want to put it into the bale sell point, but could we put it over here somewhere? I don't know about that one, but this one over here. Could we store hay in this one? That might actually be okay. We could store it in here. Let's just take a quick look. Let's have a look. If I back up a bit, I suppose I could just dump it right here. This is... Because, yeah, we got straw in that one, and the other two... The three others are taken up with machinery, and you do want to kind of keep it undercover. It's not ideal because it doesn't have any sides on it, so rain could blow in on top of it, but it's not bad. I think, you know, it's beggars can't be choosers, and this is better than nothing at all. So we'll tip it right here. So I want to use the tip anywhere function. And you've got to sort of travel forward while you're emptying, because it does bulk up quite a bit when it comes out of these machines. There we go. Right, there is our store of hay. Climb out and have a look. So we've got loads of hay here now. Excellent. So that's all loose. My question for this week is, do you want me to do round bales or do you want me to do square bales? When we can eventually afford to get a baler. I won't be using the standard game ones. I'm going to just use these reskins that they've offered up to us with the red paint on them rather than the yellow. They're exactly the same. There is no difference in the price, performance, anything else, except it's just a simple reskin that they've offered to us. So, yeah, do you want me to do round bales or do you want me to do square bales? And head into the comment section down below. Let us know why you're voting for the one that you're voting for. And don't forget to mouse over onto the little eye up here. Click on that and then you can cast your vote. Anything else? Nope, that's everything. So I'm going to need to go back up there where we'll do that in tomorrow's episode, actually. We will go back and we will get the rest of the hay and we will store it here undercover over on this side. Just the other side of the road to the main farm. Just cross over here. We're looking at 40 grand to get a mixed feeder. You know, it probably would have been better if we'd stored our hay in that shed right there. If we'd moved that machinery, we could have stuck some of it over there and then even stored some of the machinery over there, say stuck a combine or something over there, because then we wouldn't have to go so far when we come to actually loading up our mixed feeder. But anyway, it's done now and I'm not about to go and pick it all up. And also tomorrow, if we've got time, we'll see about if we can spread out the pile of grass that we've got over the other side of the cows and turn it into hay and then gather it up, because I'm not happy about leaving it like that, because you wouldn't leave a big pile of fresh grass. It would just go off. It wouldn't be any good. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, folks. If you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give me a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, again, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.